Freddie Smith, who plays Sonny, and Christopher Sean, who plays Paul. Well, hello, Chandler, Christopher, and Freddie.
Hello.
Thanks for checking in today. Let's start with Christopher. Congratulations. Big news about a new project you're working on.
Yeah, I'm pregnant. It's crazy.
Oh my God,
No,
I can't believe it.
Now it's 3 men and a baby. It's real. It's happening. No, thank you very much. I'm really, really happy. I can't say too much, but I can definitely say that I am now part of the Star Wars family, which is huge.
No, that's incredible.
Thank you.
First of all, Freddie and Christopher, you were working so nicely together in a big story, and then Chandler came back. So what do you remember about that, and how did you feel when you heard the news?
Yeah, I think Paulson, it was really great that we built such a great relationship, and it was perfect timing in a dramatic sense for Chandler to come back and Will to be here, and it's always amazing working with Chandler, and he just brings so many dynamics to the screen, and so I was just really pumped to get this love triangle going.
Christopher?
At first, I was very hesitant because there was a stigma about Will that I was terrified of. He's gorgeous, and he's spontaneous, and he's dangerous. And he lived straight up to that. So, working with him now, I found that he is like TNT. He is dynamite. That's why he's nominated for an Emmy. He is the man. He's amazing, and I was very, very upset actually to see Paulson kind of hit the fan and be shredded up as it was. However, I think Paul will always have deep down in his heart love for Sonny, and the love that he has now for Will is even better. It's quite lovely. It's like horchata. It's delicious. It's a wonderful drink.
And Chandler, how did you feel coming into this dynamic?
Well, I was really excited because I got to re-explore. I've already worked with Freddie for many years prior, so kind of come back to that dynamic that I already knew worked really well. But then also work with someone I'd never worked before, in Christopher, and sort of explore how that played out on screen. So it was cool both ways.
Now, there are a lot of fans out there. Some want Harita, some want Paulson, some are Wilson. How does it make you feel that all three of these pairings really strike such a chord with the audience?
I think it ultimately shows just progression in general, because I know when Chandler and I started off with telling this love story, there was kind of a not a hesitation at all, but just we didn't know what the outcome would be in the sense of telling a love story between two men, and I gotta say, I think Chandler feels the same way. I mean, we were overwhelmed with positivity, and people latched onto it, and I was just so proud to be a part of it because it was done so well, and to go from like being talked about as the first gay storyline to now having a love triangle between three men and everyone's taking sides. It's like just showing that we're like every other couple on soap operas. Like, love triangles are what's up, and I just love that we've come so far, and I'm just so proud of how society is moving forward, and we've been able to be a part of that with the writing and telling the story, and just everything over here on Days. It's been great.
Now, you obviously all get along pretty well. How would you describe your dynamic on and away from the set?
I'll take that question, and this is completely 100% truthful. I don't like either of them at all. I hate them, and they stink. No, they're great. Honestly, love hanging out with Freddie. I just did his podcast, the Freddie and Alyssa Show, which was awesome. We just sat and talked about life and great just things that we're working on and aspirations and ways to focus on success. And that's just things I love to talk about. And then Chandler and I, like I said, we play video games together on the PlayStation 4. He'll come to my house and play games, or we'll play Dungeons and Dragons on Sunday. Like, they're both just, if I ever had the time to hang out with them, all I'd want to do is spend time with them. They're so freaking fun.
Do you think it helps your dynamic on screen to get along so well off screen?
Absolutely. I think any relationship, whether it's a hateful relationship or a loving relationship, will permeate onto screen. Any mannerism that they do, whether you like it or hate it, it shows in your natural reaction, which will then change your delivery of your line. So
Yeah, absolutely. The chemistry is very important, and because we get along so well, it really shows on screen, and it's translated into love. Because that's what we have. We have the best bromance out there.
Now, who started the Instagram stories?
We actually all decided that we were gonna shoot them together, and then Freddie bailed. No, I'm just kidding. No.
Dressing room session.
Dressing room session. Yeah, no, we all decided together. Really, I think Chandler was kind of heading forefronting it, and then we all just decided like, this is great. We should do sketches while we're out here, and Chandler and I were working more together than Freddie. So when we had Freddie around, we were like, let's shoot, let's keep you involved. But he was there from the beginning, and this is all our own brainchild. Yeah.
Freddie and Christopher, you bring your girlfriends a lot to events. Do they? So Chandler, I don't know if you're dating anyone at the moment, so that's why I'm not directing this to you.
I have a new girlfriend. I want to give her a shout out. Her name is Tristan.
All right.
No way, really? Congratulations, man.
We had
I'll kill her.
Sorry, you got drowned out. What were you going to say about Tristan?
Oh, I'm just saying that we had our official let's be boyfriend girlfriend talk a few days ago.
Okay.
Nice.
Dude, that's so huge.
Well, I was going to ask, do the ladies in your life give you input on scenes that you do together or your love scenes? Do they have anything to say about them?
In reference to my relationship, if I ever have like any kissing scene, I don't work with my girlfriend on the scene. For the most part, I'll just kind of like work on my own. She's just kind of got tired of me saying, "Oh, I love it, Freddie. I love it, Chandler." Like she's like, keep that out of our bedroom.
And my girlfriend says this publicly, so she's not going to care I say this, but she's just super supportive in the sense of understanding the work schedule and what I do, and she loves me and supports me, and she's proud of me. But we kind of just like, it's kind of like my thing, and she enjoys coming to events and seeing everyone that she knows and supports me and comes and just always looks beautiful and amazing and is really great on the carpet and just has fun at the events. But she kind of, it's just kind of like, oh, this is what Freddie does for work. So she's really not that big of a part of it when it comes to like the behind the scenes or knowing like what's going on in the story or anything. So we just kind of have it like separate. And it was really interesting because there was a fan yesterday at the nominee reception. It was really crazy because this woman came up to me and she's like, oh my God, and she was like singing my praises and she was so happy to meet me. And Alyssa told me later, she's like, it's so crazy because like when you go to work, and sometimes I forget just like, oh my gosh, like what you do is so amazing. Like you're such an amazing, talented actor. And it's like she got to like see this other part of me, Like when you go to work and come home, it's kind of like, what'd you do at work today? I was like, oh, it was good. I worked at so-and-so. So it's kind of crazy that we just kind of have our own things and we support each other, and that was my long-winded answer.
No, that was a good one.
Though, I think Freddie and Chandler are both probably the most humble guys on set. Like they don't come in with any ego.
No, I'm way humbler than Freddie. Way humble.
Wait, doesn't that statement make it not more humble?
That is a paradox. But no, really, they're like literally the two of the most humblest of actors. Like you come to work and they're just like, hey, what's up? Yeah, just living life, While the other actors are like, I don't want to state names and I don't want to put anyone under the bus, but these people. No, I'm kidding. No, but there's always those people that are like, yeah, I'm an actor. What of it? It's just a job, and I love that. I love that mentality. It's so humble, and they gracefully live that life.
What does it mean to the three of you that this story is not being told as a quote-unquote gay story? It really is just a love triangle.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. It's like I mentioned earlier, like to kind of blend both of those answers is just we've been able to watch the progression of it, and we've been a part of that, and to see just how far we've come is truly incredible, and that's the kind of questions that we get now. And I realized that it was obviously hugely relevant at the beginning when it's like, oh, you're playing the first openly gay character, the first gay storyline. Like that's what was talked about the first 2 years, which was important to talk about. That's a hot topic. We're just like every other couple, and we're really prominent too. Like I love that we're like prominent in the story. I've been working with like all the I think I've worked with almost everybody on the show now. Like we're all very mixed in with different things, and we're getting older, and we've just really been integrated to the show, and when when you're on the show for this many years, you look back and like, oh my God, I can't believe it's been 7 years, and it's just like been awesome every step of the way. So we're just very lucky to have it, and that the writing and the story is good, and we just go and do what we're supposed to do, is tell a great story and affect the audience in a way that has them on Twitter going and fighting for relationships. So it just shows we're doing a good job.
And just to touch up on that, it's also great because it is a natural, there's a regular occurring thing in life, and a lot of people write into me saying, thank you for telling my story the way it's not placated, it's not exaggerated, this you are acting the way I am in life, and that's a beautiful thing. It's we're telling a proper love story.
Yeah, I think it allows us to have really explore like the depth in each character rather than just being the gay guy. We're not. It allows us to be more than just two-dimensional and sort of explore and show like sort of the universality of love.
Now, separate from each other, who are your favorite actors to have scenes with?
I love Drake Hogestyn, love Daniel Day Kim. Both of them are phenomenal actors who have really helped me in my career.
For me, I know this is probably too generic, but in general, like there's a connection with each person that we work with, and I enjoy when I get a script. I'm like, oh great, it's going to be because like someone like me, Christopher, Chandler work together often, or Judy and Wally work together often. Billy, I work with him, but like sometimes I'll be like, oh, I get to work with Martsoff today, or I get to have a few words with Galen today, or I get to talk with Marcy, or like it's just really cool. Like I just love being able to sit there, because you also relationship build. Like when you work with people, you go in your dressing room and you spend 30 minutes running lines and catching up and getting to know each other. So I love the aspect of building the relationship on screen, but also off screen. So I enjoy working with everybody. I find it we have such a great cast here and good people, and everyone's professional, so I love it.
I mean, well, everything that Freddie said, of course, but anytime I get to work with Allison, I love and cherish it, because she's kind of she comes off and on, but it's just the thing about Allie is that she when I first came on the show, she was in like every episode. She had every day. She had just so much dialogue. Sandy was involved. Had her fingers in every single like pot, bubbling pot in Salem, and just through it all. I mean, she didn't crack once under the workload, but she was also always so nice and positive, and she was like the consummate professional. And I sort of tried, or have been trying, to model my work persona around hers, because it's just she led by example.
Now, when we had spoken last, you said that you all come to work knowing your lines. Is there one of you who comes to work super prepared?
Not me.
I wasn't gonna say it. I wasn't.
I mean, I think we're all prepared. We know the workload. We know what's at stake, and we know that as a machine here, that there's a lot of people involved in us being prepared and professional and showing up with a good attitude and ready to work. So, we all come in very prepared, and then we just really polish it in the dressing rooms or in the makeup room, where we can just run it, and this way we know our beats, and then we can just make, choices on the actual takes, so that though we know it well, we can still surprise each other and make each of us, have a genuine reaction. So,
but I think the main word that you said there was polish, because you said Paul. So knowing that you said it, I'm gonna say it myself. I come the most prepared.
Yeah.
Well, I think we all have different styles of preparation, But I mean, we all, of course, like we get paid to do this. We all have to come in prepared, but it's cool to see. I mean, the way each of us prepares is sort of is different, but which it all sort of works together when we come on screen.
Which of you is the least likely to flub a line?
I'll tell you, here's the thing. If somebody were to flub a line, we know the scenes so well, because we all do come so overly prepared that we actually save each other and or pick up the line for each other. So really, we're called the straight-to-tape gang, because even if we do make a mistake, we save it, and they take it, and they're like, that's a good one, let's go on, next one. So
Actually, Christopher, when I was choosing my Emmy reel, I chose a scene where Christopher messed up. He had like it was straight tape. He was talking about being a professional baseball player, but like he combined professional. It was like for a baseball or something like that. It's epic because they're going straight to tape. I'm like, yes, I'm putting that in the scene, so I'll see that he messed up there.
it's really not for his win. It's really just to embarrass me and shame me in front of everyone at the event.
Who has the best dressing room of the three of you?
Actually, all of us suck in terms of dressing rooms. I feel like
Mine might be the biggest,
Yeah, by far.
but we didn't put any work. I don't have any decorations. Mine was left from Massey, from Kate Massey, whatever she had, or if anyone else was in there in between. But I haven't decorated. I think Christopher, you have some personal stuff in there though.
Everything I have in my room is a collection of items given to me from fans, and I just kind of I present them all to show how much I'm loved to anyone that enters my room. So my own shrine to myself.
Look how much Chandler, remember I put together a bed in your dressing room one year?
I got in so much trouble for that. It was I put a queen size bed down there and tried to sneak it down there. I got busted. It took up the entire dressing room too. Like you just had
Yeah, for anyone who hasn't seen your dressing rooms, they're not that big. Queen size seems ambitious.
Yeah.
Who else do you hang out with besides the three of you? Like, if we're gonna find you at the set, are you with anyone else besides each other?
I'm typically in Drake Hogeson's room. I'll just hang out and spend hours just chatting with him, even if we don't have scenes together. But if I'm not there, I'm shooting dressing room sessions or creating ideas with Chandler or Freddie.
Well, it's kind of hard. Like we said, the pace is so fast that if you're not working with someone in the scenes, and usually the people we work with are each other, it's almost like you don't even really get to see them, or you don't have time to hang out with them really. You don't have that much time.
Yeah, it's pretty much you just hang out. I think the makeup room is where you just kind of get, like, you kind of say hello and have, like, some banter or exchange some information of, like, hey, what'd you do over the weekend or whatever, which is, like, collectively in the makeup room is where it's popping. And that's where you kind of see everyone, and then, like Chandler said, like, whoever you work with. Like, if I'm working with Judy or Wally, like, you'll go in the dressing room, you'll talk with them for, like, 15, 20 minutes, then you run your lines for 20, 30 minutes, and then you're kind of like, okay, bye, and then, we have to go and have our own, time to, like, get dressed, get our head clear, maybe, grab food or water or serve some mints or whatever the routine may be. That's kind of mine. And then you just go out in there and kick butt.
Do you guys have a favorite scene that you've done with one or both of your co-stars?
Yeah, I have a lot of favorite scenes, and surprisingly, none of them are shirtless. But the favorite scenes I have, and this is kind of selfish. This is my favorite scene was my coming out scene on Days, because I got to speak in Japanese and come out. Another one of my favorite scenes was the vows I had with Sonny, or Paul had with Sonny, because I felt so great and natural. And another surprising favorite scene was just talking to Paul and Will, just casual conversation in bed. It was very normal and natural, and it was really great. It was a really great scene. So those three really stand out in my mind.
Freddie or Chandler?
For me, and I know Chandler, he mentioned this a couple weeks ago or a month ago. One of our favorite scenes was, I don't even remember what we were doing, but just how it felt. There was something super real about where the whole, like, writing the New Year's resolution in the can.
Yeah.
Is that what it was? Like, that was years ago. I don't know if it was like, I don't know what there was just something really special. Like, every now and then, for some reason, like, there'll just be something extra special that goes on in a scene that just really stands out to you. And but it's a variety, like when we were drugged at that party, and we were like had to play like we were like drugged up and
on
swearing
Halo
our words on Halo. Like, that was really fun. Like, I love, like, we're having struggles with like with Vincent, and like that was really fun. And then of course like those pivotal moments of like the weddings, and I mean, it's all really awesome if you really think about it. Like, sometimes collectively you can't really comprehend it, but if you really break down to somebody what's been going on, I'm like, holy cow, there's a lot happening. But when you break it day to day, that's all you see. You're like, okay, today I got these 6 scenes, I got to do this, we're doing this, let's do that. But when you actually look at like what we've already filmed or like 3 months back and you like break it down, it's like, wow, there's a lot going on. So I don't know. I just like it. It's all good.
So that the New Year's resolution scene for me stands out just because it felt so. We sort of we both surprised each other, and it just felt so authentic. Also, another scene that Freddie and I did, it was a while ago as well, like a Halloween scene where we were dressed up. We had capes and like these funny, like the glasses with like the bushy eyebrows and like the big nose.
Oh yeah.
We just remember we put those on and we just like had like a normal scene, but with those. And then we were shooting silly string at each other. Remember that?
Yes.
That was so much fun. And then it was all downhill from there, obviously.
Yeah.
But and with Christopher, I really liked. Christopher plays like discomfort so well. He's the best person I've ever seen. So like when Will is sort of in the beginning courting, trying to go after Paul, but Paul still has feelings for Sonny, and and it's like it's sort of like a cat and mouse game. It's wrong, but like it's right, and just like that sort of like back and forth. It was supremely enjoyable to play. Yeah.
You know what was also really funny, just to pick on Christopher. When I left him at the altar. And you just like you cut to Christopher and he's just like just so sad, like up at the top, like this is so mean. But he was just so concerned and like, but yet didn't overreact, like completely was understanding and goes helps, but like he just got drugged through the mud and he's just such a phenomenal actor. It's always great to watch. But I just love like we have these inside jokes and stuff, and that was one of those ones where I was like, I felt truly terrible for Paul and his character. Like I genuinely, when I was reading all this stuff happening and us filming it, there was a genuine like guilt. It was weird because we worked for a year together and everything was perfect, and then I completely just like when they just got to you alone, everyone went over to Ben and you were just alone on the altar. It was so sad. You played it so well.
And yet we're all laughing.
Also when I remember watching when Paul, he sees Will in Memphis and he's battling. It takes him a day as almost internal turmoil because he doesn't want to, once he breaks the news that Will's alive, then it's probably over. But anyway, he does that because he's such a good person. He does the right thing. He tells Sonny in the hospital, and then Sonny just like immediately, right before the Sonny's like, let's do it. Let's get back together. I want to commit to you. Will is. It's over. My life is, with you now. And Paul's, I have to tell you something. Will's alive, and then Sonny immediately just goes, "Bye, Felicia," and
pushes the ring into his chest. Like, here's your ring.
It was pretty harsh.
Yeah. It is. I don't know why it's funny, but it is. But
it's just so greatly acted by Sonny, by Chandler, by everyone else.
By Christopher.
I think we know who is really the most humble person of the three of us. Christopher can't even pat himself on the back once.
Yeah, I have. We started the whole conversation saying, "Good job, Christopher, Star Wars," and it's like that's enough. That's good.
That's right, bringing it all full circle.
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to seeing what comes next for these three. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And I will talk to you guys soon.
All right.
All right.
Take care.
Take care. Have a good day.
Bye.
Thanks so much for joining us. Pick up your new